So welcome everybody to our new moon gathering here in October, so the Libra new moon. So just going to go through, kind of hit some highlights here before we get started with Ralph. So you can join our Facebook group. It is www.joinmoongatherings.com. And just so you know, the next new moon gathering will be in a month, so mark your calendar, November 6th. When you register on this link that's right here, so I always tell people take a screenshot. We also put this information like in our Facebook group as well. You will get a notification of this. You will also receive a recording if you are registered for the webinar, okay? And then in 2 weeks, we will meet for the full moon gathering, which is Wednesday, October 16th. That is a different link to register. They're two different webinars, right? Because one's done the first Wednesday of the month, one's done the second Wednesday of the month. We're going to be hearing all about the moon and the stars and the planets from Ralph MacIntyre, who is our evolutionary, who is not ours, but well, he could be ours.
I'm yours.
Astrologer, we'll claim him, and Astrocartographer. If you want to know more about Ralph, his website is www.astro-map-links.com. And Ralph always offers a really great deal for people who are in our group. So if you join our webinar, you're in our Facebook group, you can get 50% off his complete world map, which runs typically $50. So you get it for $25. This is the link to be able to take advantage of that. If you want to know more about me, I am a Theta Healing Master as well as instructor, do some other things as well, but we focus on Theta Healing. You can always hit this link, and it is a directory listing that I have with the holistic directory.
Excuse me, but I believe you're our Theta Healer Master, by the way, too, just in case you were wondering. I'm not shy about claiming.
Okay, I could be y'all's Theta Healing Master. And so if you want to know more about Theta Healing, I do have a short video on YouTube, and that is the link to it, as well as what else I offer doing Theta Healing, okay? And so that is this link here. You can always take a screenshot. You can always come back later and watch this. And I also have a Facebook group for belief work. You'll be experiencing downloads, and it is joinblastyyourbeliefs.com, and that will get you into the Facebook group that you can ask to join. Once again, to join our group, to find out about the dates, the links, joinmoongatherings.com. Woo, the housekeeping as of the way. Okay. So now
you do such a good job.
On to Ralph. On to the good stuff.
So appreciating you as usual. So we got the new moon in the sign of Libra. Libra is it's kind of an interesting sign in the sense that people see Libras as this kind of soft, kind of agreeable energy, and the true essence of Libra isn't necessarily being soft and agreeable. It's the balance between my needs and your needs. So as we kind of unfold this, we start, bringing in some of the overarching patterns that we're all working on right now. Saturn just went direct. I want to say Pluto is going direct tomorrow. So this transit that's been affecting us all summer, this retrograde, this inner looking transit that's been affecting us, wanting us to look in and see what needs to let go. And, so one of the ways to kind of look at the area that's kind of up in this particular moment is to look at the moon. The moon moves quickly, but this process, this new moon is a 30-day process. So for the next 30 days, so to speak, what we're looking at is how we relate to others. Are we putting our needs above others, or are we putting other people's needs above ours? And how much of that is, and how that's all working. So that's kind of the foundation of kind of a little bit of what we're looking at. The other thing that's happening is Libra is actually square. So it's at a 90 degrees to the Pluto Saturn nodal axis that we've been talking a lot about. And so anytime there's planet is square, there's a little tension. So in traditional astrology, squares are kind of looked at as bad. In evolutionary astrologer, squares aren't really bad. They're actually very powerful. And here's the deal. It's like if you have a little tiny grain of sand in your shoe, you very often aren't going to take your shoe off to get rid of it. But if you have a big rock in your shoe, you're going to take action. So on some levels, a square is a big rock. You know, you can't avoid it. The energy's there. It's strong. There's tension. And a lot of times, if you look at it from the surface, you think it's conflict. And not to say that it can't be conflict. And, you know, especially any of us that are in relationships or ever been in relationship, know that part of relating to others is how you navigate conflict, you know. And especially Libra is really about how you navigate putting your needs out or taking care of other people's needs. So this conflict that's happening is wanting us to really look back into this Capricorn structure, you know, how we structure ourselves. Saturn moving direct, wanting us to take action, look at the long picture, delay gratification so we can achieve greatness. Pluto gets a bad rap, but Pluto really wants you to be the best you ever. Pluto's willing to burn down the forest so the forest comes back stronger and better than ever. So anytime you're dealing with Pluto, it's really wise to not ignore it, because literally Pluto can be, you know, fires. Pluto can be accidents, death, dying. And a lot of times that's how Pluto gets its bad rap. It's like, oh, I had this Pluto transit and I lost everything, you know. But most people don't look back and, you know, as the Pluto transit's coming along, and it's like, you know, I got all this stuff from that old relationship in my basement, and it really is energetically tying me down. And, oh, I'll put off getting rid of it next week. Oh, I'll put off getting rid of it next week. Oh, I'll put off getting rid of it next week. Oh, my whole house burned down. I guess I don't have to get rid of it anymore. And so then we blame Pluto on the house burning down, but it's really not willing to take the hard action to make it happen. So that's where Pluto is. And so Pluto, this last 6 months or so, has been retrograde. So it's really asking us to dive deep. Pluto's an inward planet anyways. Pluto wants you to look at what's holding you back. What is the karmic stuff that's holding you back? What is the early childhood wounding that's holding you back? And, you know, so when it goes direct, it's really going to kind of connect up with that Saturn action-oriented, long-term, delayed gratification, and wanting you to start taking action. So as this relates to relationship, because that's the moon's in this relationship sign. The sun, all the personal planets are in relationship signs right now. So as we relate to other people, you know, where are we holding ourselves back? Is what these transits are asking from us. You know, where is our emotional nature, you know, not allowing us to assert ourselves or getting us to assert ourselves in unhealthy ways? That's kind of what this transit's wanting us to unpack in this moment. You know, the overarching cycle, you know, just in review, we have that Neptune in Pisces, really wanting us to connect into the higher divine energy. And You know, we've had this Pluto conjunct with the South Node and the North Node in Cancer. We have Saturn, Jupiter that's kind of moving together right now, you know, so it says, where is your structure and where is your luck? Where are you not reaching for the greatness, Jupiter? Where are you not using your structure to build a foundation so you can reach to the greatness, Saturn? And these two planets are kind of been moving in the square, in that tension, you know, that big rock in your shoe tension of wanting you to kind of blend the two energies together and take action. So that's kind of some of the bigger stuff that's going on. Let me look at my notes right here. So Neptune has been retrograde for a little while. And with any planet that's retrograde, it's asking us to look in. You know, so Neptune is that spiritual wisdom. It's the connection to the divine. So as you look in, as you look inward, you know, you want to look at how your structures are helping you connect to the divine or keeping you from the divine, you know, and your emotional nature is, in my opinion, one of the better spotlights. What you feel, how you feel, what's lighting you up in the moment is a good way to kind of look at some of this blockage from Neptune or Pluto. And even Saturn, you know, anytime you have powerful feelings or challenging feelings, very often they're pointing at something. So if you take the time, you slow down, you breathe into it, you don't project it out onto someone else, you can actually see what it's shining at. And then, you know, make change, you know, use that Pluto energy to look deeply, be truthfully honest with you. No, you know, no lying to yourself with subtle, oh, that's all right. Yeah, I can put taking that stuff out next week. It's no big deal, you know. But in reality, when you look into that Pluto, you know, it's like if you're holding on to symbolic things of past relationships that no longer serve you, you know, because they're, you know, there's some little fond memories, there's an energetic signature to that. You know, anytime you have anything in your house, it has energy. It will affect you. So what are you holding on to that is affecting you in such a way that you're not consciously aware of it? Is one of the ways in which Pluto wants to help you become that greatness. You know, and with Saturn, you know, moving direct now, it's really asking us to take action that supports our emotional growth. So right now in the sky as well, we have Venus and Mercury square this Pluto. So Venus is what you're attracted to, what calms you, what soothes you. Mercury is how you think, how you communicate, where your brain looks. So, you know, it's one of those things like with Venus, it's like, you know, is that pint of ice cream the best way to soothe yourself when you're having those challenging feelings? Or is it better to quiet the mind, Mercury, sit in meditation, breathe into those feelings and understand what's underneath them? And so the more you take that time to slow down and do that, you'll find that these planets are all here to help you. You know, Pluto gets this bad rap, but you know, I have a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel on this particular subject to really help you unpack and look at how Pluto is really your best friend. Pluto is your friend that's willing to tell you the hard things so you can become great. You know, it's like, honey, you're doing things that are harming you. You know, this is not, you know, you said this is what you want, but here's what you're doing. That's the friend Pluto is. Pluto's not the one that says, oh, you know, I understand your feelings, or, you know, it's Pluto's going to tell you the truth, no matter how hard it is, or how hurtful it is, or how much you don't want to hear it. So as Pluto moves direct, as Saturn's moving direct, as we kind of move forward, You know, Neptune is going to be in this retrograde process for a little while. Once it moves direct, you know, all these planets are kind of wanting us to take action. I don't know about you, but I've been noticing that my desire to put myself out, to take action, to further what really truly nurtures me, you know, what calms me, what supports me. You know, that's what all these transits are really asking from us right now, is to really kind of look inward, take the action appropriate to make the things that we want in life to happen, you know. And as it relates to people, you know, it's like, are the people in your life supportive? Are there people in your life that aren't supportive? You know, so I have this this little process that I created for Libra, and it's fairly simple. So you take every action or interaction, every relationship in your life, and you kind of put it down. And there's right after that, there's two columns. Is it supporting me, or am I supporting it? Is this person supporting me, or am I supporting this person? And this is very black and white. So if it's 51% I'm supporting this person, then it's in the column of this, I'm supporting this person. If it's 49% I'm supporting myself, or this is supporting myself, it's in that column. And then as you do that, you're consciously looking at your relationships. And then the final column is, are you all right with that? So a lot of people think when you look at this structure, this process that I'm talking about, oh, so you go through and just get rid of everything you're not all right with. And that's not what you're doing. The process is about consciously looking at the relationships, consciously acknowledging that you're not all right with it, especially if you're parents, you know, or you're dealing with your parents. You know, there's a lot of relationships where you have to support the other person. It's not supporting you. You're not all right with it, but you're not going to change it because it's your child, you know. It's like, or it's your parent, it's your loved one. But the more conscious you are around it, the more you can then choose to be all right with it. Choose to be like, oh, okay, this is something that I want to happen, even though I know it's not supporting me. So as this Libra energy moves through for the month, you know, we're focusing this on relating to other people, our primary relationships, our romantic relationship, our close friends, how we relate to people at work. All of your relationships are on the menu, so to speak, on the chopping block. You know, that Pluto, Saturn, that Neptune energy are all kind of focused in this moment to help you figure out the relationships that are working for you, where you need to put more energy, where you need to nurture those, or the relationships that are no longer working for you, where you need to kind of take that solid Capricorn, Saturn boundary and say, no, this is enough. And so as this transit for the next month unfolds, you'll notice that a lot of this will be up for you. And the more you can consciously take action and really look at it, take the time to be slow your mind down, breathe into your feelings. Because for me, the feelings are the spotlight into all of this. The more you can just kind of be with your feelings and not project them, the more it's going to help you see into the darkness, into that Pluto subconscious, and unlock it. And then, as always, you know, the theta healing is so powerful in this particular subject, you know, because it helps you heal some of this trauma. So as we transition over to Brenda, if anyone has any questions or comments, or if Brenda has any questions or comments, I see she's unmuted herself.
Well, you know, I don't like to get yelled at if he hears me, you know, so I have to mute myself. I won't get any trouble with them.
Oh, wow. Yelling.
Oh, if you think this is yelling, Ralph, come on now.
I was going to
like
say, if you thought I was yelling,
So, no.
I have a common thing I tell people. It's like, I'm mellow until I'm not. I got that moon Mars connection, so it's that passion comes out everywhere.
So I see a lot of new names, which is great.
Awesome.
Which means that Ralph sent out his email in time for people to be able to do this. I'm just kidding, Ralph. I like to give Ralph a hard time.
I think I sent several emails out, which is like very, it's nothing like Saturn.
What is going on with the planet, Ralph? What is happening here? So, so theta healing, people can tell you how they think and how they feel, but what we do, how we create our lives are with our beliefs. So we hold those at a cellular level. So what we do with theta healing is we actually shift those beliefs. And when we do that, it actually affects how we think, how we feel very easily. And so a lot of times it's as if it's always been, because we didn't have to put that much effort into doing anything else. So it makes it like super easy. It's a very complementary modality. It also is a very respectful modality. So we don't do any work unless you say yes. So, and you have to say yes out loud.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, and Ralph will cue you on that. When you say yes out loud, it actually will allow you to tell the universe, God, whoever you believe to be your higher power. It also lets your brain know, like, we want some work done. This is going to change for us. So there are always 3 beliefs that I change for a new person, whether they be a client, a student, a participant in our webinar. And that is, I want an instant healing, I deserve an instant healing, and an instant healing is possible. Because theta healing works very quickly, and if we don't have those in place, then it's not going to be as quick. And I'm all about quick and easy, right? Yeah. So I want an instant healing, I deserve an instant healing, and instant healing is possible. If you'd like those, just say yes out loud.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, so on to some things, and I always let Ralph, I always get his input at the end, right? So we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event. So again, if we have a trauma, then what we say is we have free-floating memories, and when we remove those free-floating memories, it actually neutralizes or allows us to be objective. And so how can I say this? It removes all the pain from it and the bad stuff, and allows us to keep the gifts and the good stuff. So we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event, since we're not really sure where it started, right? Of what prevented us from balancing our needs with others. And we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from relating with others, keeping in mind what is our highest and best. Let's go ahead and do those first 2, okay? And I think we're going to go off into a little bit different subject. So if you'd like those, just say yes out loud.
Yes, yes, yes.
We want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from connecting to a higher energy. And we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from connecting with the divine. And we also want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from recognizing and discovering the divine within ourselves. So if you'd like that, just say yes out loud.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from being honest with ourselves. And we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that incline us to hold on to past relationships. And we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that we're obligated, which means we don't have a choice to hold on to things that will hold us back. And then we also want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from digging deeper within ourselves. We want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from looking past the initial emotion and digging in to what's beneath it. So if you'd like those, just say yes out loud.
Yes, yes, yes.
We want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from being aware and recognizing that the planets are here to help us. And we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from, oh, what's the right word here? Objectively looking at our actions and our interactions. So we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from looking at actions and interactions in our lives objectively. And we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from attracting and creating relationships and situations that support us. So if you'd like that, just say yes out loud.
Yes, yes, yes.
We want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from reciprocity. So prevent us from reciprocating and being in that balance of reciprocation. So give and take is balanced. We want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from realistically and consciously looking at the relationships that are in our lives. And we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from looking within and knowing where do we direct our energy. So we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from directing our energy where it's for our highest and best. And we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from having boundaries with ourselves and with others. And we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that obligate us to project our feelings instead of looking at them. So if you'd like those, just say yes out loud.
Yes, yes, yes.
Anything else you think I missed, Ralph?
I don't know if I would say you missed anything, but I don't know if I missed it or something definitely came up while you were talking. Conflict. So relating with others and conflict are kind of married on some levels. And I think a lot of times with conflict, where conflict goes awry is when you see their needs and your needs opposed and there's no bridge. And that's limited thinking. It's kind of programming, it's trauma, but it's limited thinking, because if you really look at the conflict and look at the bridge, if you think of the bridge rather than the conflict, it's like, how can I get what I want, and how can this person get what they want that's so opposed, but there's a way in which that can happen. And so I think there may be something on that particular subject.
Okay, so then let's remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from recognizing that a bridge is possible. And then also remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from looking at and creating the bridge. Does that sound about right, Ralph? Or would you like something else? Okay.
Fabulously perfect.
So if you'd like those, just say yes out loud.
Yes, 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 yes.
Anything else?
Yeah, I got all sorts of things else. That's interesting. So
he never does this. Go on.
So I want to encourage that there's an opportunity for people that are here live, that they can actually bring both what I'm talking about and what Brenda's doing really to home by sharing where this is falling in your chart. Because if you kind of give me a house and a placement, then we can talk a little bit about how this is particularly interacting in your life, and Brenda can do some of her magic, particularly interacting with what you're talking about, and which will help everyone, but also focus it more on you. So I know I've said this before, but if you want to share some of the houses or some of the things that are happening in your, how these transits might be hitting you, it's a good opportunity for you. And then the other thing is that a lot of times the universe uses individuals to remind me and Brenda what we should be talking about. So it's like, if you have a question, it's like, is it your question or is it the universe trying to get into our heads so that we can say what it wants us to say through your question?
Absolutely. And of course, also, one, I just have to say, this is not a screensaver behind me.
I was
actually
just
where I'm
tripping
at.
on that.
I
was all like thinking,
yeah, so it's not a screensaver. This is real life here in my life right now, folks. And so, but also too, I know I just had to say that because somebody just said that, and I was just looking at it and I was like, oh my God, look at the colors in the sky behind me. So, so I have picturesque windows where I'm at, and I can see mountains, and I'm up here in Northwest Montana teaching, and just came from Portland teaching. So, but I wanted to say that, if you hear something that Ralph has said that I didn't catch, that you think needs to shift, right, for everybody, that we could, do some theta healing work, I'm absolutely open to that as well. So I know that some people are all about their charts, and they know their charts, and they can, they type things out to Ralph here in the chat. Or we just have some people who are great listeners, and they hear something that Ralph said that possibly I didn't cover. And if I did, I'll let you know. But if I didn't, I'll do it, so it's perfect. And so we love to get your feedback. And of course, we love also So I'm going to give, so I'm going to keep talking, but if there's something, feel free to type into us. We'd love for you to invite people. We love to see new names and faces, right? And, this is free. This gives people an opportunity to be able to know what's going on twice a month, and then be able to have some work to be able to deal with it, to be able to handle it. So looking to see if anybody is typing for us and it doesn't look like it. Anything else come to mind? We kind of moved kind of quick tonight, Ralph.
Yeah, so one of the things that I want to talk about also is that working directly individually with either one of us in these transits or things like this are going on in your life can be extremely powerful. I know for myself that I'm like really kind of on fire diving into the karmic stuff, and Brenda's work is so powerful. So, it's a great opportunity for you to kind of dive in and unpack how this is unfolding in your life. And then I was going to say this in the beginning, but I wanted to kind of get you to reiterate your standard saying about, it doesn't care. We don't care what you say you believe, but whatever's happening in your life is what you're truly believing, and there's I was thinking Brenda and I could probably talk for an hour just in that particular subject and unpack how powerful that is to show you what's going on. It's the same with your emotions. So it's like if there's things in your life that are not working, that's your belief system that you're not aware of, So it's like if you say you believe you love yourself and then you do things that are unlovable, well, there's a part of you that's not loving you. And it looks like someone.
Yes. So there's a question. It's from Kristen. And she says, I had Jupiter square Pluto yesterday and Jupiter conjunct Mercury on the 6th. Does that mean anything?
So Jupiter was square your Pluto. Yeah, that's a powerful transit. So Jupiter in general is where we underestimate ourselves, where we're not reaching to the greatness. So Jupiter's also the land of opportunity. And with opportunities, it takes action. So a lot of times people look at Jupiter, it's like, oh, it's so lucky. Oh, and it's like, yeah, it's lucky. But if you sit on your couch and don't buy a lottery ticket, or if you don't open the paper to look for that job, if you don't put yourself out there, the universe doesn't have any way to help you. So with Jupiter square Pluto, we have this luck, this powerful energy that wants to help you create, square your subconscious, or where your deep soul desire is. So by really looking at some of the areas where you may not be taking the action, looking for those opportunities, because that is super powerful transit for you. So the more you can dive into that, the more you can, push yourself out of your comfort zone, reach for something that's really magnificent, because most of us reach up to what we can see. It's really easy because it's like if you reach into something you can't see, there's that, fear of failure, or that sense of maybe failure, or sense of it's not possible. And that's why Jupiter, one way of describing Jupiter is where you underestimate yourself. Because if you only reach to where you see or what you think is possible, you miss so much. It's funny, Brenda was talking about, she wants to be in my life around, being able to sit and let Brenda take care of all of the back end of it.
I think I need to do this reflection thing that you talked about. Anyways.
Because I did a prayer like a year ago. It's like, because one of my main astrologer teacher, he travels all over, and it was, he's got these beautiful women that take care of everything. He just shows up and talks, and everything's taken apart. And I'm like, he's got something going on there. And so I have manifested it in a very big way. Looks like we have another question.
We do, and we have one in the chat, and we have one in the Q&A, and the one in the chat
Okay.
is before that one. So
Awesome.
this is one I get to answer. Yay!
Awesome.
So, Luann asked, if we need to get rid of things that no longer serve us, how do we detach from those things? So that is a great question. So there are many reasons why people stay attached, right? They have sentimental value. They have either that they feel like that they won't get anything else if they get rid of something, that type of thing. They're holding on to it for fear that, you know, it provides like a monetary value for them. I one time had this incredible psychic that I used to go to years ago in East Texas, and she had a lovely little twang, and she was just like this really cute little thing. And she said, you know, the universe, God, now that is a screensaver that's in the screen now, those little dots. I don't have orbs here in Montana with me. Well, I do, but I don't think that they're coming on to the call for us. But she used to say that the universe or God looks around at us. And if we just have stuff, and we have a lot of stuff, then the universe is like, oh, they have plenty. Now, it could be junk, it could be crap, you know, it could be things that are blocking our energy, but it looks like we have plenty. So when we get rid of things, it opens up the space. It allows things to enter into our lives, just like with people, just like what Ralph was talking about, you know, making that list and saying, you know, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing, or how does this work? You know, do we want to keep it? Are we okay with it, or are we not? You know, so let's go ahead. Let's look at this. Let's remove the free-floating memories from the original event that obligate us to live in a state of scarcity. And then let's also remove the free-floating memories from the original event that obligate us to make things more important to us than what they are. And let's also remove the free-floating memories from the original event that cause us to project how we feel about people onto things, onto inanimate objects, you know, things. And then I'd like for you, so we're going to do this. And then right after that, what I want you to do is I want you to think about some things that you're keeping that are either cluttering your life or are blocking the energy, so to speak, or that you're like Luann and you know, I need to get rid of them. How do I detach to get rid of it? So while I'm doing this work, I want you to kind of make a little mental list or a little write down a list, and we'll do some work around that as well. So if you would like what I've just spoken about right now, just say yes out loud.
Yes, 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 yes.
So think about that stuff that is that you have, that you want to detach from, that no longer serves you. And I'm going to give you a minute to do that. And then what I'd like to do is let's remove the attachment that we have to these things. I can do this with ThetaHealing, right? Let's take that energy that no longer serves us, right? Let's take that attachment away from it so that we can let it go. And then let's also remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from letting go of things that no longer serve us. So if you'd like that, just say yes out loud.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. So here's the question for you, Ralph.
So hold on. I don't want to run so far from that question.
Okay.
First of all, Luann, I want to really appreciate you and this question because I personally really needed that question. And so there's a reason why we are attached to things, and so I'm hoping Brenda can do some work on, because a lot of times we're attached to things because they fill a need, but the problem is that they don't really fill the need, and so by being able to see what the true need is and let go of it so we can bring in what really feeds the need, is kind of what I was seeing and hearing around that question.
Okay.
So is that enough for you, Brenda, or should I say more?
I mean, I'll tell you what I get from that, and then you can tell me whether or not.
Yeah.
So I want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from having discernment on between the illusion of our needs and our actual needs. Is that
okay? Yeah, no, I was wanting to, so by being able to clearly see how these things that aren't really serving us are serving us, by identifying what the little part of it is that's serving us.
okay?
Then we can then let go of it and bring in. So it's like part of it's like, for me, it's like, there's things like, oh, I don't really truly deserve to get, it's like if I want water, it's like, well, I get a teaspoon of water, I don't deserve a full cup of water, so I'll drink these teaspoons of water, or these little things that are really not serving me because I get just a little, because I don't, for me a lot of times deserving's a big one, but for other people. So is that more clear what I'm pointing at?
So then we want to remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from
Clearly seeing our needs.
Prevent us from knowing how things serve us.
I would say clearly seeing our needs so that we can fill them in ways that truly serve us. Okay.
And then let's remove, because I feel like that what I just said, like before this, will fulfill the first part of what you've just said. And then let's remove the free-floating memories from the original event that prevent us from fulfilling what we truly need. So when you have that discernment between the illusion and the actual, it gets for you to be able to tell the difference. When you can understand how things serve you, then it allows you to know what you want to let go and what you want to keep. And then, so yeah, I think that this has covered what you're saying, Ralph, unless you feel like there's something else.
No, I think yeah, perfect.
Okay, all right. So if you'd like those, just say yes. out loud.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
So here's the question, which I believe is for you, Ralph.
Yeah.
Instability around housing most of my life. Saturn transiting 8th house and Pluto 9th house, i.e., natal Virgo, stellium, just turned 61. Any advice? Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, the 8th house is the house that's naturally ruled by Scorpio. It's also naturally ruled by Pluto. So the 8th house is a huge house. There's so many different things, but in essence, it's what really, really, truly nurtures and feeds you. Scorpio energy. It's like diving deep into underneath, and what really truly feeds your soul is what Scorpio wants to give you. So having Capricorn in the 8th house, we want to look to your natal Saturn, but I'm just going to talk about Capricorn in general. Is structure, it's boundaries. So the 8th house is how you relate. It's deep bonding. It's the connection. It's, tantric. It's spiritual connection. It's losing the boundary between you and me. Capricorns is there, and Capricorn's very much a boundary sign. Capricorn wants to, build walls, have structure. So there's a way in which what these transits are trying to help you see is where you need to have structure, where you need to define self so that you can relate to others. So it's like, it's like if you're not clearly defined, if you're not clearly defining what you need, then it's hard for someone else to relate. And because the other thing about the 8th house is other people's resources. It's how you use other people's resources. So the clearer you define who you are and what you need, the easier it is to find people who can help you. So Saturn, did you put the answer?
He said Saturn 7th.
Saturn 7th, okay. So relating to others is, big. We're talking because both the 7th and the 8th house. So the 7th house is the relating to each other, the marriage, but it's kind of like roommates. It's like who takes the trash out? Who does this? How does this all work so we can live together? And then the 8th house is that deep spiritual bond connection. Tantric sexuality is kind of an 8th house thing. It's the deep connection of bonding and merging. So, and then moving Pluto up into your 9th house. So I'm not sure if that's transiting Pluto or natal Pluto, but it doesn't really matter. I'll talk about it. So fundamentally, the 9th house is belief systems. And anytime you have planets in the 9th house, one of the ways that I like to talk about it is the belief systems that you were taught as a child, what it is to be, whatever. What it is to be a woman, what it is to be a man, what it is to be an American, what it is to be, and often this is what I like to say, what it is to be a good woman, a respectful woman, or man, isn't necessarily going to serve you. So traditionally, the 9th house is long journeys over water. From an evolutionary perspective, we like to talk about cross-cultural experiences. So it's like what it is to be growing up in the United States as a woman is way different than what it is to grow up as a woman in Tibet or China, you know? And so it's like what we just hold as true, you know, what we see as beautiful, what we see as good, it is tied to this reality, our culture, our reality. It's not the only answer. So Pluto's diving in there. Pluto is the subconscious. The ninth house is kind of part of that subconscious. It's the belief systems that no longer serve you. So one of the ways I like to talk about the ninth house, it's real simple. Take all your beliefs and throw them up in the air. And then as they float back down, sort them out and bring them in with who you are now. Don't take oh, this is what my mom, this is what, you know, this is what my family, or all these different things, you know. So it's about changing your view of yourself. Instability around housing. Part of me wants to, I don't want to minimize, because I know this is a powerful question and I only have a few minutes, but I don't want to be, sound harsh with this next statement, because I don't mean it as harsh, but I'd like to kind of do a redirect and take that word instability as in spirit as keeping me from being places that I shouldn't be. See how I did a little ninth house belief? So it's like, oh, my home is instability. But another way of looking at it is spirit will not allow me to be where I'm not supposed to be. See, once you look at it from that perspective, then things start opening up. You know, and then Virgo, talked a little bit about Virgo stellium. You know, my standard joke about Virgo is you can be the psychic witch or the psycho bitch. And because Virgo inherently knows what's right, inherently. But the problem, and here's where the psycho bitch comes in, no one wants to know what's right. We live in a world where it's like, whatever, get away from me with right. You know, I just want to live my life. But this is where the psychic witch comes in. Not only because when Virgo gets stuck with knowing what's right, that's in the lower ego. When Virgo jumps up into its higher octave, it also knows what's right. No, so here's the psychic witch. So it's like if I tell, you know, Brenda that, you know, I would never yell at her in a time when it's not appropriate, she's gonna like, oh my God, he's this like overreacting to a joke I said, like, could he just get over it? You know, but if I say something, you know, and it's like at the right time, you hear this like, wow, how did you know I needed to hear that now? It's like with that question that Luann, you know, it's like, how did you know I needed that question now? You know, and so for you, Janet, I suspect that everyone on the call, because you're Virgo, you know the right timing, that people needed to hear what you just asked. You know, people needed to hear that redirect around the housing, you know, and so the more you start to get away from the needing to be right, Virgo, and knowing when it's the right time to transform people, Virgo, the more things will you know, unfold in your life. And that ninth house in Pluto and that Saturn, you know, and then also the relating, you know, this is a very much learning how to relate to others and interact with others in a way that serves you, you know, because yeah, I think that's enough for right now. I could go on for hours on this subject, you know. You might really enjoy a reading, Janet, also, because I can dive deep into this with you and help you understand the higher octave of all of these transits in your chart and help you reach for things that work better for you. On to you, Brenda.
Well, I'm not seeing any more questions or any more, you know, comments in the chat. So I'm going to say we're done.
How about one quick letting go of society's beliefs, clearing unuseful society beliefs.
Okay, so we want to
So,
remove the fee-footing memories that we're obligated to have the same beliefs as society.
yes,
Okay,
perfect.
so if you would like that, just say yes out loud.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right.
Awesome.
So it looks like we're just getting like compliments and thank yous. So I always love that. But
Awesome.
um,
Awesome.
going
Yeah, I want
once.
to thank everyone for their
Yeah,
questions.
yeah. It was, yeah, I think it was a really good webinar as well.
Yeah.
We did some things a little bit differently than what we've done, and I think it was good. And so, very, very welcome. So we will be signing off. Again, please sign up for the webinar. If you want to be at the one in 2 weeks, again, it's a different webinar link, and invite people. We love it. Again, it's free. So thank you again, and we'll see y'all in 2 weeks.
All right. Thank you. Good night.